Alright, so I just wanted to do a quick little recap of Mr. Theo's first week. I'm also going to attach just a short little clip of him working on his heel. This week has been centered around nothing too exciting. We're just working on establishing a response to different markers, and a marker is a cue or a sound that marks the moment in time that I like something, and then that announces the arrival of food. So over time, as we condition that response, when he hears those markers, he understands that food is coming. So then the marker then takes on the good feeling that food normally gives him. So not pushing commands on him just yet. I want to make sure that he understands what each picture is before I start naming things. So what I've been doing this week is a lot of luring, so having treats in my hand and having him follow my hand around so that I can manipulate him into different positions. And then when he's showing the behavior that I want, I mark that moment in time, so that way after a while he learns that doing this specific behavior brings reward, brings him good feelings. So a couple different markers that I'm going to be using. The first one for right now is going to be the clicker. And that's something I'm going to phase out unless it's something that I use later for like leash reactivity, which I don't think he has. I think it's something that's a little tricky to transition over to you guys. It's just one more thing to have in your hand. But I like to use it a lot in the beginning to shape new behaviors because it builds a little bit of enthusiasm in the behavior. Because it's a consistent tone, he can't kind of distinguish between different tones. Like if I'm really excited or kind of meh or upset or whatever, it always sounds the same, so he perceives it always the same, and it brings on more enthusiasm into the behavior. So I use that to shape behaviors, again, build enthusiasm in each one. And then what I'm doing now is introducing the word good, which is going to be something that I use to build duration. So eventually when I'm putting him into a behavior, I want him to remain in that behavior until I release him. So I'm going to use that word good, followed with the food reward brought to him to keep him in that behavior until I give him his release, where he's just going to be okay. So if eventually when I'm asking him to sit, I'll say good to show that I like that, and I'm going to continue to say good, treat, good treat, and then okay out of behavior to build that duration. And then I want to make it a point that he understands that the marker is what he's responding to and not my movements. So I'm making sure that when I go to reward him, I'm using the marker first, and then I move around to present that food. I want him to not be responding to my hand movements, because eventually once we are actually going into behavior, I want to be able to move around and do things and not have him get up to follow me to come get the food just because he's thinking that my hand going into my pocket is what's rewarding him. I want him to be responding to that marker. Right now, everything is I'm a very consistent rewarding schedule. I want to build that consistency and that reliability, and every single time he does something, he gets a reward. So that way later down the road when I'm raising the bar a little bit and expecting him to do things quicker or right away, or if he breaks behavior or whatever and I'm withholding food, I want him to be a little bit frustrated and wonder why he didn't get food, so that way he can try offering up new behaviors. So that's something that I'm going to use later down the road. Right now he's just getting fed for everything, and at some point we're going to switch that out to where he's not getting fed for everything, because nobody wants to do that. So I'm just going to do a quick little demonstration of him working on his place command, going into a sit, and again, I'll send over that video of him healing. Right now, everything's mostly in the training room, just so I don't have a lot of competing motivators. Next week, we'll start moving around. We'll start naming things, and we will start going around the neighborhood, and then eventually we'll go on field trips to like Home Depot and Bass Pro and things like that. Ready? So let's see if I even have my clicker. There it is. All right. Hi. And I use the clicker a lot right now to mark and reward eye contact. It's something that I like to do with dogs that are easily distracted or very motivated by their environment around them. So if they look up at me, I will click and mark that, reward that. If they're moving away from me and creating tension on the leash like this, as soon as he moves into the leash pressure, I click and reward that. So I want him to understand that moving into leash pressure is more valuable than resisting it, which is what dogs, what animals, everyone naturally does, is they resist pressure. Ready? So this right here, good, was really scary for him in the beginning. He did not want to touch this cot. Good. We had to spend a couple of days desensitizing him to this little raised bed. Good. It's very scary. But he's going on it pretty well now. I'm able to kind of move around a little bit. Good. Again, creating neutrality in my movements. I don't want him responding to my hands going in my pockets. That's not what is presenting the reward, it's the marker. Okay. Very nice. Out. Here it is. Theo. Yay, good boy. Again, not anything too exciting, but I did want just to give you a little demo of what we've been doing. He's doing really well. I thought he was going to be a little bit of a handful because he's so saucy out in the play yards, but he really likes this. Typical golden retriever, likes to do things for people, right? That's you? Yeah, that's so saucy out in the playgroup though, yeah. Yeah. All right, you ready?